Alright, we should be recording. Can I see the file? I see the file. Let's keep going in Far Cry 3. Which I'm still doing map cleaning because I want to get there's two, I think. I'll check because actually I can do that right now. Right there. 5 trials of Archaea to get the next SIG weapon, and I don't remember how many I've done, but I just need to keep doing them. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm also trying to do the hunting missions because that way, you know, I advance the crafting. Nice. I'm sorry, that just makes me happy that I'm gonna get to use this thing. Without the silencer, I'm not sure how much I want to use it, but it's got exploding rounds, so we're gonna get to see how that goes. Alright, so I haven't looked too closely at some of the RTX 4060 stuff since that's now out. So reviews have gone live, including ours, including OCC's. It's been a busy week trying to take care of other things. That is my excuse. But what I did look at, it looks like it does beat the RX 7600 that AMD released that nobody liked. But it's also, apparently they've now actually reduced the price to $250 on that, so the $300 4060, it sounds like it isn't necessarily worth the extra 50. Unless it's the whole, you know, oh, but I gotta have DLSS. Unless you're somebody like that, what little I have seen made it sound like it's not necessarily worth it compared to that one. And also that it doesn't seem to be the heck? Why the music change? Anyway, but it also sounded like it didn't it hasn't necessarily provided the uplift in performance you want to see. Okay, I'm gonna try to not. Yeah, I might have to. Holy crap. Cassowaries suck. So yes, I'm just gonna kill all of them that I can. Alright. That was it. But man, this is a powerful rifle. So yeah, it does seem like one of those, this has just not been a great great year for, well, great generation. There we go. I was trying to think of that word, but for whatever reason, it would not come to mind. But it seems like it isn't a great generation for mid-tier graphics cards. Hopefully that will change, but and by that I mean pricing or just the next generation won't be so bad there. But I mean, I don't know. To be fair, some of it we're just not, well, the pricing is the big problem, I would say. Because one thing I was seeing was suggesting the 4060 is on level with the 2080, which isn't bad. I mean, that's a nice place to be. But you'd have expected that of the 3060 Ti, and actually, as I think about it now, that's what you got, because I thought I saw something that the 3060 Ti can still beat the 4060, so it's not even a clear improvement over the previous generation. But then, I guess maybe that might be just what NVIDIA's deciding to do, because Pascal was an improvement over Fermi. Yes, Fermi. But Turing was not much of an improvement over Pascal, as I recall. Yes, that was the case. It wasn't, it was a 1000, 2000 series where it was like they just, they shifted prices, well, no. They effectively shifted prices up. The 2070 was the 1080, and stuff like that, where it was more or less horizontal, because the price to performance ratio didn't change from Pascal to Turing. That's what I'm trying to say. So I wonder if that's kind of where we are. Ooh. That could be fun. What am I hearing? That's what. Okay. And that. I'm just gonna avoid them. So yeah, I mean, it's... I don't remember what was said about the... I did see something comparing it to the 4060 Ti, but I just don't remember really what it said. And to be honest, I don't like that there's $100 separating those. I mean, so this is mid-tier. The 4060 and 4060 Ti are both mid-tier. And this idea that... actually, give me this. That it's $100 separating. That doesn't feel right to me. I mean, it's just, to me, mid-tier, the pricing difference between them should be smaller, in my opinion. Siri? Oh, no. There's more dogs in pockets, so I have to do that. I mean, I can understand there being $100 between the 70 and 80 class, if we are talking about NVIDIA. That I can understand. There. Because that... Oh, crap. Because that is... higher up. So it doesn't seem unreasonable to me. But the idea that it's between the stuff where it's like, no, these are the people that don't have all the money or don't, saved up to be able to have this much to spend on hardware. And it's like, to get to the next tier, it's $100. It's like, that just, I don't like that. Damn it. I was really hoping I was far enough away. Now, I will also grant, I don't fully remember what the differences are for AMD at the moment, but then it's also AMD's being very weird with the... We don't currently have their full mid-tier lineup even announced. So we got technically low mid-tier. I think we can call this 7600 low mid-tier. And then the... Well, that's not good for me. And then at the top, we have those. So the 7800 XT, 79... Wait. No, we don't have the 7800. Sorry, the 7900 XT and the XTX. Oh, and much to my continued annoyance, the whole... Because I talked about it last week, and it's like, why are people still being stupid with this? People are still obsessing over the whole... Well, oh my god, there are games that only have FSR, that don't have DLSS, and that must mean that AMD is forcing this. It's like, no, FSR is basically a one-stop solution. You cannot say that of DLSS. I mean, you can't. You truly cannot. Because it only works for specific NVIDIA GPUs. Alright. Where am I going now? Got another trial here. Yeah, I guess I can just run it. Game crashed. A few times. Trying to figure out the fix. Hopefully, especially since I don't have the game going, hopefully, don't crash now. But yeah, I've tried a few things. Hopefully this last one, which timeline-wise I think could be an explanation. But I really don't like that that's going to be the... Well, I guess ultimately it's not the big deal. I've reverted the drivers for my audio interface, which I had to... I mean, the original ones I was using worked for recording. They just... Playback was a problem. The newer ones weren't actually better. So maybe... But I stayed in them. Maybe that's actually the cause. It could also be something with the game. I don't know. So... Because right now... I mean, it crashed within this amount of time when I last tried recording. So, yeah. I'm just, like, explaining why I don't have the game going right now. I have no idea about next week. And this also really sucks because I need to do, like, hours of recordings this weekend. But I still have some notes to go over. One is the Steam Summer Sale started. That ends on July 13th. The GOG Summer Sale is ending July 3rd, so that's Monday. And they do have a final giveaway there. They also, Endless Space 1 and 2 have been added to their catalog, so if you're interested in those games, you can go and check it out there. And they are on sale at 75% off. I just have a couple other things noted. One is, Phoronix reported that GIMP, the basically years old, hasn't been around for a long time, open source alternative to Photoshop. Apparently, the developers recently had a conference, and one of the things that came out of that is they are still hopeful that there will be a release candidate released this year for GIMP 3. I know I did an article, well, not an article, but a piece in the Friday News Write-Up a while ago, talking about some of that and how part of the move to GIMP 3 that really slowed down making it was changing to GTK3, which is the SDK for doing the UI, and well, it's more than that because it also influences plugins and such. We're already on GTK4. That gives you an idea of how long they've been working on trying to get GIMP 3 put together. Although I did see one thing, apparently 3 and 4 are closer together than 2 and 3, so a move to 4 shouldn't take as long. I think there was also some element of they'd just been putting a lot of work into GIMP 3 that, they were rebuilding things because it was a time to do that, not necessarily that they had to. So, yeah. Hopefully we'll get that release candidate by the end of the year, which does kind of imply it's next year that the full release would be. Another thing, and this, I didn't include the GIMP thing in what I wrote up. I felt there wasn't quite enough news there. It's interesting, but it's only worth talking about. I don't think it's worth trying to put together several sentences on it. The other that I did write up in there, though, is Noctua has released a, although you can only get it from them or you can print it yourself. They shared the files for that. A direct die adapter, well, a direct die cooling adapter for many of their coolers. So this is specifically for the Ryzen 7000 series, so AM5. If you delid the CPU, which is very dangerous, don't think that, oh yeah, I'll just do this. No, this is going to damage your CPU potentially. I mean, technically, the act of delidding damages your CPU, but does it damage it such that it fails to work? That's where you don't know. And if you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't do it. But Noctua worked with DeBauer, who's the extreme overclocker, who he's one of the higher ups at Thermal Grizzly. I don't know the story behind some of that. If it's he founded the company, helped found it. I don't remember. I'm sorry. But they also do make direct die delitter. Well, they make delitter kits for different things, including the 7000 series. So this partnership with him makes perfect sense. Also, they're German. They're both German, so that helps as well. It's like that they're a language barriers should be minimal. So the idea then would be you get from Thermal Grizzly, like the delitter, also the liquid metal. It sounded, not sure, at least it sounded like may have been suggesting using liquid metal as the thermal interface. I'm not sure if that's necessary, but I'm not aware. If you're going to be delitting, go to that anyway. I was like, you're already, a niche of the extreme enthusiast, so why not? But they were, Noctua was claiming like 10 to 15 degrees is typical for improving thermal headroom, which I'd seen previously for stuff just delitting, because AMD made the IHS so thick for Ryzen 7000. And you're getting rid of that, so it's going to help with heat transfer. There's nothing wrong with how CPUs run normally, but this is an option. Then you can use this so that we'll apply the correct pressure, get the height for the cold plate to the dies correct so that there is proper contact. And and you can also actually use it with the thing that shifts where the cooler is, so it's better over the CCDs, the actual compute portions of the CPU. If you do that, they were saying it can get you about another 2 degrees at the max. So, excuse me. Well, it hasn't crashed so far, so that's good. I don't really have anything else. I am kind of frustrated because of these restarts, and I hate whenever the desktop restarts, because it's one of those. Don't get me wrong, I love the desktop. It's great. But it's just one of those, when there are problems with it, I don't know how I can recover, and I don't know how I can, get back the ability to do the things that I try to do and need to do. So, the recordings I have to do this weekend, I don't know how I could do this on the test system. I guess one thing I could do is not how I would want to do it. And also, I wouldn't, there's just no good way of doing it on another system. It's part of the reason why I'm definitely looking forward to, though it'll be a while, to building a new desktop, because I what I've never done before is actually run 2 main desktops in parallel. By that I mean still have the old one working, using that as the daily, but slowly moving over. I've always just carried the installation over, which works, and it's worked. Technically this installation is over 10 years old. It does work, but I do recognize that it can produce various issues. And I do wonder if I am running into those, if that's what's causing some of the issues. I don't think this one. I think it is more likely it's the drivers. There could be 1 or 2 other things. The audio drivers. It could be 1 or 2 other things. So I'll just have to potentially keep figuring things out. But I'm going to, once I finish recording this, just do some other stuff to relax, because it's stressful. It is stressful. All right. I don't believe I have anything else. Oh, I have been continuing to work on the Witcher 3 performance analysis. It's actually kind of funny. I was thinking I'd be doing the recordings this week. I worked on that instead. And found some neat stuff that I'll just mention here. I've talked about before that because I do so many more stats and so many more graphs than anywhere else, that if there's one thing I would want another place to use, it would be the quantile graphs. I now have 2, because there's actually 2 examples of this in the Witcher 3 data, and there might be more because I've not finished going through all of it, where my reasoning for why that graph should be adopted, if not to show somebody, at least to inform the reviewer, is it is so severely obvious. So the reason why I say use the quantile graph is it lets you know if using the 1% low or 0.1% low is appropriate or not. I have 2 configurations where the 99% is actually in outliers, but a fraction of a percent lower, meaning I use frame time, so it's 98%. So instead of translating it to frame rate, 1% lows are in outliers. But a fraction of a percent up, so not even fully to 2%, though 2% low would cover it, you are now in the bulk of the data. You shouldn't be reporting on outliers. You can report that outliers exist and where those are. That's fine. But you shouldn't be just blindly using a value and it's that's in the outlier and I don't know that. It's that is such a problem, and that's why, hey, if you're going to try to improve your stuff based on whatever, start with this. This is literally the most important thing I think any other reviewer can do. I've got 2. Where 1, it's literally 0.27% off. So that would be the 1.27 percentile is where, like, that's where it cuts off between, okay, and it's, kind of nebulous if it is that the bulk of the data or is it the outlier, but it's enough central there that's like, yes, that value is actually reliable, and it's literally double the performance of the 1%. The other point, it's more like 0.7%, but still is, you're moving a fraction of a percent through the data, and you're getting double the performance. That's why you should not blindly use percentiles. You should check them against something like the quantile graph. Because it might be you're reporting on outliers, and that's useless. You shouldn't report on outliers. You can report outliers, but when you're trying to represent the bulk of the data, trying to represent what the experience will be for somebody, you should not use outliers. Because by their nature, they're outside that normal experience. So, yeah, I mean, it's like you really should be avoiding that. And this is like, hey, I can show you right here why you shouldn't do that. Because the move is so small. I got other places, though, where it's not so small. Where it's like, now you have to go to like 96%. It's like, okay, yeah. I mean, that's not as good of an example. Because some people might be like, oh, but, 4% of the data, I want to report on that. Okay, fine. What about this, where it's a fraction of a percent? It's like, yeah, you can't really say, oh, but it's still valuable. It's like, yeah, but if you move a fraction of a percent inward, then you're seeing double the percentage, double the frame rate, and you're also, in the bulk of the data now. So it's like, how do you reconcile that? And I do feel that's you can't. You need to acknowledge at that point that, yes, you should not just use percentiles blindly. You do need to check them. Yeah. I might actually make it like a small video at some point. I don't know. Just focused on that aspect. It is something I mentioned in the write-ups. So yeah. All right. I got no idea. Maybe I'll keep. We'll see how the recordings go this weekend. If I am able to do them, then next week back in Far Cry 3. If not, maybe I'll have to stop. I really hope I don't need to, though, because I've been doing those recordings that I've been talking about for years now. I've maintained the same schedule for years. Never missed a date. I have 2 weeks to make recordings to not have that happen, to keep to that. And it's just one of those, I don't know if I were to stop, if I would feel like I failed enough that I don't know how much I'd want to try to get going again. So, yeah. I mean, it's like, it is a point of pride for me, so once that fails, I don't fully know what I'll do. I'll probably try to just, pick it up and apologize, but yeah. Anyway. At least this has been going well. Maybe it is a thing, though, with when the game is going. It might be specific to the game. I don't know. So, at least this is going to be ready. So, see you next time, whenever that is.